Hi, Kako. Evan here. Sorry I can't be there today. I am, however, plugged in and paying attention. Fortunately, we've got two great Kealaula members here from cohorts 1 and 2, some peers of yours who are going to lead us through a design thinking activity that's focused around our objective here, which is to come up with some vetted prototypes of ways that the EdTech group and yourselves can more systematically impact our tri-campus Kula. So to that end, a little bit of background on changes in governance structure, and of course we have Goldfinger's boardroom from James Bond. The CEO now has the Po'okula directly reporting to him, and Ho'olaukoa has now moved to the EVPA's office. And in so doing, we actually remain on the Nakula leadership team and basically continue to function in the same way with all of the same roles, albeit with some slightly shifted priorities and timelines. So with this move has come great interest on the part of the Ahukulia level, trustee level, about what's happening with educational technology. And part of the reason for that is that it's not called out explicitly in our tactical plans, but yet is kind of embedded across everything that goes on. So there's a real desire to have a better story about what's happening because we don't think that they really see the impact and aren't necessarily aware of what's happening. So we want to gather those exemplars of Aola that incorporate technology, and one of the ways that we're sharing that with the enterprise community is through Facebook Workplace, which most of you are probably familiar with. So again, at a high level, three big things going, three big areas running right now with technology. The Digital Learning Council, the EAC, and the TAC committee have been working very hard at looking at a big technology ecosystem for KS education, looking at how learning management systems in particular, data dashboards, student backpacks that travel with them with exemplars throughout their time, disciplinary programs such as Swiss Suite, college readiness like Naviance, how all these things kind of work together in the larger ecosystem of technology. The other area of focus has been developing a more efficient emerging tech process. And in doing that, with the creation of the Digital Learning Council, there's more focus on aligning the emerging tech requests to the ISTE standards and to, quote, world-class Hawaiian culture-based education. Because of the DLC, things move a little bit more quickly on through to TAC, and the turnaround time on emerging tech is really stepped up. There's also a website that is being piloted to monitor progress of an emerging tech request, and if you look in the speaker notes of this PowerPoint later on, you'll see the link to that website. The other thing that's going on with emerging tech is relooking at the ITP, or the IT plan, and how it could serve in the future as the place that pilots various emerging tech requests that come through that could have a broad campus division or tri-campus impact. For example, piloting a learning management system, perhaps with a couple of teachers at one campus, and setting up the various measures by which we'll evaluate the quality of the program. Finally, over there on the right, on the far right, is the Mattel-style new icon, and I just wanted to share a couple of quick trends that are coming out of the emerging tech requests so far in the last year. The first is that we're really getting a lot of requests for hardware like laser cutters, 3D printers, GoPros, various different kinds of data collection tools for use in the field on Huaka'i, etc. And then on the software and app side, a lot of interest in learning management systems, a lot of interested people in formative assessment tools, but also a real interest has kind of cropped up with film editing, software engineering, all kinds of little apps that allow you to make and create things on your own. So I thought that was very interesting to quickly share. Now, when I came last time, We talked about some of the challenges that you folks had from your side with respect to engaging in work with the Kula. And one of the big things that came out of that to me was, of course, the Police's famous album, Synchronicity. In other words, not timely coordination between your folks' efforts and the Kula's efforts, not necessarily including you in the curriculum renewal process, not having all the same communications, and those kinds of things. And when those things aren't synced up, when the communication isn't there, when the partnerships aren't happening at a more systemic level, you have to rely on your folks' great Pilina skills to build those relationships with teachers, support new teachers, et cetera, all those things that you do well, but could be more effective at with a little bit of help and a little bit of structure on the part of the Kula. So one of the biggest challenges, as we know, and we should think about as we think about planning some prototypes today, is the fact that we have two different kinds of teachers in the world. We have the teachers on the left, and we have the teachers on the right. Need I say more? Now, the problem with this is that one must think about the Pilina when developing ed tech in the classrooms and spreading it out. And a lot of times, you know, in my past, I've wound up feeling kind of like this, again, going to Goldfinger, you know, some persuasive techniques that we would really like to use, but unfortunately we can't. So how do we create a bigger impact on our system and address some of those perspectives that you have as resource teachers? How can we create a system approach, and how can we work with the campuses to really support the programs that they're involved in and really take advantage of the combined resources that we all have? So what we're going to do for the rest of the time that we have is we're going to do a design think activity, and I am actually going to turn it over now to Kelly and Alan, and they are going to talk briefly about design thinking, show you the different steps of our activity, and go for it. So mahalo, thanks for the time, and I hope you have a little fun with this.